You know, there are moments in life when you realize your only mistake was living in a neighborhood where the snowplow has more power than the police. Seriously, if you want to see what unchecked authority looks like, forget about Congress. Just watch a plow truck tear down Maple Ridge at 7 a.m., flattening everything in its path. That was me right there, coffee cup halfway to my mouth, frozen in place, watching as the plow obliterated my mailbox like it owed him child support. 3 seconds, bang, splinters flying, my name freshly painted, scattered all over the winter lawn like confetti at a very sad parade. I just stood there, inside mug still in the air, watching the truck roll down the street without even pretending to slow down. Window wide open. Driver laughing like this was the best part of his morning. Let me tell you, nothing says community like hearing your own destruction echo back at you on a freezing morning. So I throw on my coat, still in pajamas, mind you, march outside, and the truck's already turning the corner at the end of the cul-de-sac. I can still see the HOA logo on the back panel. Of course it's the HOA. Because who else has the guts to destroy your property and send you a fine for not cleaning it up fast enough? My mailbox is in a ditch. The post snapped clean through. Packages and letters, yesterday's mail, splayed out in the snow, soaking through. I'm picking them up, breath coming out in these angry little clouds, thinking, here we go again. This is the second time in 6 months. Both times the Maple Ridge Homeowners Association was involved. I take out my phone, start snapping photos, close-up, wide-shot tire tracks in the slush. Not because I think anyone will care, but out of some desperate need to have evidence. And there it is, tire tracks swerved right into the mailbox. Not a way into. This wasn't an accident. This was a hit job. That's when Tom comes out. You'd like Tom, retired cop, quick with a joke, no patience for HOA nonsense. He's wrapping a scarf around his neck, sees the wreck, and just shakes his head. Plow, he calls out. Yeah. Driver laughed as he drove away, my voice already a little too loud for 7 a.m. Tom comes over, boots crunching in the snow, and gives the scene a once over 30 years on the force. You can see the gears turning. Third mailbox this winter, he says. Henderson's lost theirs in December. Kramer's before that. He leans in, voice low. You think it's intentional? Oh, I know it is. My wife saw the driver aiming for Henderson's mailbox. She called the office. Want to guess what they told her? I shook my head, dreading the answer. Mailboxes too close to the street are a liability. Homeowners should consider it a warning to move them back. I nearly lost it. We're all at regulation distance. I checked before I installed mine. Doesn't matter to them. You know who's running the show now. Tom gives me a look. I know exactly who he means. Patricia Moreland. 6 months as HOA president, and she'd turned our quiet little neighborhood into something that felt more like a bad episode of Cops than the New England suburb I'd signed up for. The type to measure your grass with a ruler and issue citations for the shade of your Christmas lights. Clipboard, scowl, the whole package. I go inside, punch in the HOA office number, could do it blindfolded at this point. It rings 4 times. Maple Ridge HOA, this is Donna. I explain, mailbox destroyed, want to speak to someone. Pause. Papers shuffling. She puts me on hold. Some classical tune plays, probably to calm people down so they don't scream when Patricia finally picks up. She does. This is Patricia Moreland. I take a deep breath. My mailbox was just destroyed by your plow driver. I have photos. I have a witness. She doesn't even flinch. Mr. Irving, isn't it? Let me check. More papers. Yes, you received a notice 3 weeks ago about mailbox placement. I'm floored. What notice? I never got anything. It was mailed to your address. The notice stated all mailboxes must be moved back 2 feet from the curb for new safety regulations. I want to scream. There are no such regulations. I checked with the town before I installed it. And you can't just destroy property. The notice was your warning, Mr. Irving, and I would watch your tone. The HOA has authority to remove non-compliant fixtures from common areas. My mailbox is on my property. The easement extends 6 feet from the curb, technically HOA jurisdiction per bylaws passed at last month's meeting. The meeting at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, when most people work. Meeting was properly announced according to state law. Now you have 14 days to replace your mailbox in the correct location or you'll be fined $50 per day. She hangs up before I can answer, and I'm just standing there, phone in hand, every muscle tight. That's the thing about power. People get a little, they think they're untouchable. Patricia had basically told her driver, go ahead, destroy the mailbox, I'll cover for you. I tear through my files, find the homeowner agreement. Section 12, Patricia said the HOA wasn't liable for property damage. Well, turns out Section 12 is about landscaping. She flat out lied, right to my face. Tom comes over. I show him the document, the photos. He looks at me and says, that's fraud. She's deliberately misrepresenting the terms. You could sue, but who has the time, right? Court takes forever, costs a fortune. Tom says there might be another way. He calls his buddy Marcus, local metalworker, explains the whole mess. By the end of the call, Tom's grinning like a kid who just got away with something. Marcus Riley, best welder in the county, he can build you a mailbox that would stop a tank. Suddenly it clicks. I want a mailbox that looks exactly like a normal one, but is strong enough to break a plow truck if they try this again. Tom's loving it. Oh, you're evil. I like it. Marcus comes by that afternoon. We planted out steel core wooden exterior. Looks totally normal, but you'd need a wrecking ball to knock it down. I buy a trail camera, put it up on the oak tree. Marcus comes back in a few days with the mailbox. Steel post 4 feet in concrete wood veneer to match the old one. He installs it at 6 a.m. We're both out there freezing, but kinda giddy. This thing looks so normal no one would suspect. It's perfect, Marcus says. No one will know until it's too late. Now all I have to do is wait. 2 days later, snowstorm hits. I'm up at dawn, coffee in hand, watching out the window. The same truck comes down the street, the same driver. He leans out, lines up his approach. I grab my phone, start recording. The plow hits the mailbox. Metal clang echoes all down the street. The truck jerks, slides sideways, front end smashing into the curb. You hear this god-awful screech as the plow blade bends like a soda can. Truck's totaled. The driver climbs out red-faced, staring at the mailbox like he's seen a ghost. The mailbox doesn't even have a scratch. By now, neighbors are coming outside. Tom's on his porch, practically doubled over with laughter. Henderson's recording on their phones. Kramer cheering. The driver makes a call. Patricia shows up in her expensive car, looking like she's about to conquer Rome. She marches right up to the mailbox, tries to shake it. Nothing. This is in violation of HOA regulations, she says. You will remove it immediately. No, it isn't, I tell her. Had it inspected by the building department yesterday. Want to see the permit? Total bluff, but hey, she lied first. Her driver, Greg, I learned, pipes up. She told me to hit the mailboxes that weren't compliant. Said HOA would cover any damage. Patricia goes rigid, tries to deny it, but Tom's got recordings. Henderson's have photos. Even Mrs. Kramer's got evidence. Suddenly, Patricia's yelling at Greg. Greg's yelling at Patricia. Everyone's filming. It's chaos. I call the police non-emergency line. Officer Martinez shows up, listens to all of us, takes statements, gets the whole story. My destroyed mailbox. Patricia's orders. Greg's confession. All the neighbor complaints. She's thorough. Are you sure you want to press charges? She asks. Absolutely, I say. That first mailbox, I want that on record. Patricia's color drains out of her face. This is blown out of proportion, she insists, but everyone's looking at her now, not with fear, but with disbelief. A few days later, I get a letter from the HOA attorney demanding I remove my dangerous structure. I forward it to my lawyer friend Derek, who drafts a response so calm and precise it could cut glass. Suddenly, the HOA's tone changes. Patricia's out, fired, gone. The board wants to make things right, reimburse me for the mailbox drop. All complaints apologize in writing, update their policies. I call Tom and Marcus and Derek over for coffee. We agree it's a fair deal. They send me a check, remove all citations, and write a letter promising never to pull this stunt again. And Patricia. She stops by before moving away. She's different, worn down, regretful. I got drunk on power, she admits. I made your life miserable. I almost want to tell her she deserves it, but something in her eyes stops me. She apologizes, moves back to Vermont, starts over. I wish her luck. The neighborhood changes after that. New board. Frank Morrison, retired accountant, runs things fairly. People come to meetings. They ask questions. My mailbox becomes a legend. Marcus gets side gigs building tank mailboxes for others. Tom and I share a beer on the anniversary, laugh about the whole mess. Even Greg comes around, apologizes, finds a better job, learns from it. That mailbox still stands, never gets touched. Through storms, ice, even a fender bender from a teenage driver. It's fine. My mail's dry, my house is calm. My neighborhood finally feels like a place worth living in again. And you know what? The best part isn't the steel or the concrete or even the win over a petty tyrant. It's the lesson I learned sometimes. Standing up for yourself isn't about yelling or fighting. Sometimes it's about building something unbreakable. Something that says, go ahead, try. And when they do, it's their own force that brings them down. Funny, isn't it? All that fuss over a mailbox. But it changed the whole place. People ask if I'll ever run for the board. Not a chance. Once was enough. But I do go to meetings. I vote. I tell new neighbors, read your HOA docs carefully. And every time I check the mail, I smile because I know I built something strong. Not just for me, but for everyone on this street. So let me ask you, what would you have done? Would you have rebuilt the same old mailbox and hoped for the best? Or would you have made a stand even if it meant a fight? Do you think I went too far or not far enough? I'd love to know. Tell me your stories. Have you ever had to stand up to someone with a little too much power? Did it change anything for you or for the people around you? Because let me tell you, sometimes the smallest battles leave the biggest marks. And sometimes the right answer is just a little bit of steel hidden under wood, standing its ground no matter what comes barreling down the street.